What's going on, everyone? Every day, there seems to be new Damian Lillard trade information coming out, and we got some new reports. And one of these, the first one, is one that is something that I've talked about heavily on this channel, right? And that is that I've been told that one of the problems is the Blazers won't even say exactly what they want. This is something that has been reported countless times already. Something that has been reported by Blazers insiders and Blazers people. This has been stuff that's been reported by Miami and Miami's people. That, like, look, teams are trying to negotiate. Miami's trying to negotiate in good faith, and the Blazers aren't. The Blazers want a haul, but they're not saying what that haul looks like. There have been a couple, like, rumored reports of, like, oh, they want 4 firsts or whatever, right? But there has been no communication, and that's been a problem. That's something that has been, when enough people report it, then usually that means there's something. You get the one or like random, couple throwaway kind of reports where it's like, all right, like, no, like this is something that was reported from day one, has been reported by countless reputable people, and that Portland is not negotiating and having conversations in good faith. The other thing is that Miami Heat are daring the Portland Trailblazers to find a better trade for Damian Lillard in the marketplace. And this is per Woj. Now, to me, this is very interesting because, one, it's very risky, right? Like, there are rumors that other teams have emerged, right? There was that report that another Eastern Conference team has had talks and conversations. But I do understand Miami's point of like, all right, fine. Go find something better than what we can offer, right? And look, it's not hard. It's not like Miami's got this like insane package. But how many teams are actually in the market for Damian Lillard? And that is something that I've talked about heavily too, is that, how many teams are looking at Damian Lillard and going, he's the missing piece. On top of him being the missing piece, we have enough pieces to go and trade to put together an enticing package to Portland to go and acquire Damian Lillard and still have him be the missing piece. There's not very many teams, right? Like, could OKC do that? Sure. Could, a Knicks team do that? Sure. But, like, does it make sense for those teams? And is he the missing piece for those teams? And is that a place that Damian Lillard would want to go to? Not that, like, I think he would sit out or anything. I know that there were some reports that, like, I don't see it. Damian Lillard's not that guy. Damian Lillard's not the kind of guy that's just going to sit out and pull a James Harden or pull a Ben Simmons or something like that. He's been a model professional. He's even publicly said that he'll play for whatever team ends up trading for him and stuff. Like, this is stuff that, is just, it's Miami throwing out stuff like, hey, if you don't, if you try to trade for him, guess what? He's just not going to play. I don't see that. If you're a team, you dare Damian Lillard to do that, right? Like, he only has so many years left. Like, he's not going to sit out and get fined and lose his money, and it makes no sense. He's going to play for whatever team trades for him. So Miami's playing with fire a little bit, but again, if there's no communication and it's like, this is the only thing that we can offer, right? Like, there were the reports that the Portland Trailblazers basically want the Heat to scrounge whatever they can get, right? And that there's talks that the Hornets could be interested in Tyler Hero, that they like the idea of LaMelo Ball and Tyler Hero as like a potential backcourt for them, which could be very solid in their eyes. I'm not really super sure on that. Like, maybe. But regardless, that could be a way to kind of get some more assets to go and potentially work out a Dame trade. That could be nice. But at what point, if there's no communication, do you just say, all right, enough is enough? Like, I'm done. Go do what you want to do. Go try to find another trade. If you find one, sure. Because I don't think that there are a ton of teams in the market. I've talked about, I could see a couple teams maybe. I could see Toronto rolling the dice. I could see the Nets rolling the dice. And that was also a destination that he said he wouldn't mind going to because of Mikal Bridges. I could see, maybe like the Pacers rolling the dice with him because they're trying to win some games and be good and competitive this year. You have some teams that could trade for him, but I just don't think would. Like, Oklahoma City, right? For example, they have more than enough to go and acquire him. Same thing with like a team like Utah and stuff like that. But how many of those teams actually are like, yeah, let's go get Damian Lillard, right? Like they're better off holding the draft assets because Dame doesn't really fit their timeline. You know, they're very young teams that are trying to come up the ladder. And right now, even with Dame, they're probably not winning a chip. So it's like, you know, what do you do? But, you know, some of these teams maybe might be looking at it as like, okay, if we get Dame, maybe we don't win this year, but it puts us in a position for the future, right? That's something I've talked about heavily is that like, you know, look at like Kevin Durant and Kevin Durant being traded, right? The Suns didn't trade for Kevin Durant because they expected to win that year. Yes, they had an opportunity. Yes, they were good enough. No one would have been surprised if they did win, but it was more so of let's go get Kevin Durant, get him locked up now. Now we have our foundation of Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and then we build around that. They go and trade for Bradley Beal. They go fill in the other pieces. They keep Ayton, although I think Ayton ends up getting traded at some point this year, but we'll see. But the point is that now you know what you have and you know what kind of you need to put around those guys. Similar to what Dallas did with Kyrie, right? Go get Kyrie Irving. We're trading away all of our depth and defense and stuff like that. But now we can put a roster around Luka and Kyrie. We have them locked up. We're good. I don't think they did a good job of that, but we'll see. Time will tell. That's kind of what I could maybe see one of these other teams doing, right? Putting together a trade for Dame and going, okay, well, we have Damian Lillard and these pieces, like Oklahoma City. We got SGA, Damian Lillard, and Chet Holmgren, right? Now, we just need to put the pieces to the puzzle to go and try to push to maybe win a championship next year, right? And go get those missing pieces, those missing links. That could be something that ends up happening. But, you know, time will tell. But last little report that, it's not really a report, stuff Damian Lillard said, which I thought was interesting. I just kind of wanted to tack it on the end of this video, is Damian Lillard says he would rather lose every year before joining Golden State. I respect what they've been doing over the last 8-9 years or whatever, and I'm from there, obviously. That's home, but I can't be a part of that. I don't even make sense. I never do nothing like that. I lose every year before I go. Okay, like, I get that, right? Damian Lillard, he doesn't want to feel like he's ring chasing. He doesn't want to feel like he's going to a super team, right? And he kind of followed that up with, I've said this plenty of times before, I think KD is obviously one of the greatest players of all time, but if I was in his shoes, I wouldn't have done that personally. Talking about KD going to the Warriors. Now, obviously, KD went to what was the record-setting Warriors team. They did lose the NBA championship, and they got Kevin Durant and became basically unbeatable. It took the entire team falling apart. Otherwise, they would have three-peated. Like, I don't see Toronto beating a healthy Golden State team. But Kevin Durant, you know, he tears his Achilles, and then, you know, Steph Curry had injuries. Klay Thompson, he tore his ACLs or whatever. Like, the Warriors team fell apart. If it wasn't for that, they probably win that year too, because no one was stopping them. No one was getting in their way. And so I do get that, like, hey, I don't want to join this, like, super powerhouse team, this, like, dynasty the last 10 years or whatever it's been, that just keep winning NBA championships. But, like, let's not pretend like Miami isn't a semi-similar position, right? Now, again, Miami's not the powerhouse that the Golden State Warriors are, right? And they're not the powerhouse that they were at the time that Kevin Durant went, right? They basically took the best team in the league, one of the best teams in NBA history, and added one of the best players in NBA history. So it's not the exact same thing. You're not comparing apples to apples here, but Miami's been to the NBA Finals twice in, 4 years? And has been to the conference finals, 3 times in 4 years or something like that? And they just came off of, you know, losing to the Denver Nuggets in the NBA Finals. Like, you're not going to a team that, like, you're not going to the Spurs that have been terrible the last few years, or like Detroit that's been terrible for the last few years. You're going to a team that has literally been a contender the last 4 years, right? Like, you're going to a team that has been in the conversation and has been to the finals. Yes, they haven't won, but they've been there. Like the luck of the dice goes their way a couple times. They may have won, like, and so I don't know. To me, it's a little ironic. Again, it's not the exact same thing, right? Like KD to the Warriors was Dame to the Heat times 1,000. But I just feel like you're talking like you're like, oh, I wouldn't go ring chase. Like I wouldn't go. Okay, then why are you going to Miami, right? Like I get, if you went to like the Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right, or something like that, then that might be even more comparable to the KD thing. But you're talking about a Miami Heat team that's been very good the last few years, been literally one of the best teams in the league the last few years. They have a great coach, organization. They got, Bam and Jimmy. Like he's not going to these bums, right? Like he's not going to a team that is unproven and he's looking to turn it around, right? Like even if he went to a place like, I don't know, like the Clippers or something like that, right? Like at least they're a team that has been to like one conference finals and have never won, never done anything, right? I don't know. It's just like Miami's been very good the last 10 years or whatever it's been, right? Like, because you had the LeBron era, LeBron leaves, and then like you go and get Bam and Jimmy not too far after, right? Like, so it's not like this is something where Miami's just been terrible the last 10 years and, he's going to go try to save Miami. Like, no, it's a pretty good team. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Like I said, I just wanted to tack on this in part because I thought it was kind of funny. And it just made me like, I was like, huh? But, do you feel the same way? Do you not? However you feel, love to hear it. Let me know.